So if you're an accountant, CPA, bookkeeper, or other tax advisor, I want to share a particularly poignant story just to illustrate how complicated and screwed up sales tax can get. It's a situation that we were pulled into that thankfully we were able to turn around and create a really great result for our partner and for their client. Okay, so what happened? Well, the business, I think it was one of their sales reps during the sales process, had made a commitment to their client, hey, we will take care of checking in on sales tax Nexus, and then if you're happy using the software, then you can just manage your sales tax automatically with the software moving forward, and we will do that Nexus analysis once a year to make sure that you're not missing anything. So the sales rep had gotten approval by some mid-level manager because the mid-level manager had no idea how complicated and screwed up sales tax really was. And everyone just assumed that it was going to be easier than reality, unfortunately. Now, there were a couple of things that make sales tax Nexus reviews complex, but in this particular situation, the business was having a lot of trouble because the number of transactions, there were actually so many transactions that it couldn't even load in Excel in order to do the analysis. Also, the products are not taxable in every single state, so figuring out whether or not the product fit the definition took hours of time researching the state's laws and the specifics of the client's products. And then also, this was the part that they missed, the fact that the client was storing inventory in an Amazon FBA warehouse. So our partner was only looking at economic nexus. They told the client, we'll figure out what states you have sales tax in, what states you have nexus in. They were only looking at economic nexus. They did not look at physical presence at all. And there's so many ways you can get physical presence, employees, contractors, trade shows, a whole host of other ways. But a big way to get physical presence in a state, and therefore a sales tax for an e-commerce business, is through storing inventory in a third-party warehouse, and Amazon warehouses are notorious for this. So they had, in the first year, ran this economic nexus analysis, realized this is really, really complicated and going to take a whole bunch of time because of the transaction counts and because of the product taxability. In year 2, they came to us and said, hey, we already made this commitment. We already charged them for it. We're actually going to refund them that amount because we no longer want to manage this moving forward. They have an expectation that we're going to provide this Nexus analysis this week, and we already have a meeting with them. Can you help us out by doing a Nexus analysis? And then that way, they can just work with you moving forward. And we said, sure, provide us with the data. We got into it. And of course, the first thing we wanted to know is are they storing inventory in the warehouse? And our partner was like, what are you talking about? They did not realize, because we saw that the transactions were coming from Amazon, that was going to be a trigger. They had missed 14 states in that first Nexus review. That means that the business was not collecting sales tax in 14 states. And they were advised that they did not have Nexus by this partner. They were really freaked out because it could have been a lawsuit. And thankfully, their client was really cool about it. But I will say that it ultimately did work out with it, and there was no lawsuit. So ultimately, what we did for the client is we decided to engage in a voluntary disclosure agreement process to save them a whole bunch of penalties and some interest in some states. Now, we ultimately brought that client on board, and we're managing their sales tax ongoing. That business ultimately became a TaxValet partner because they realized we definitely don't want to be wheeling and dealing and just making sales tax promises to people that we cannot maintain. And so now that they're a TaxValet partner, we're actually embedded in their new client onboarding process. So what that looks like is when they onboard a client, they say, hey, are you managing sales tax? If not, let's introduce you to TaxValet so that they can chat with you about if you have some potential exposure and if we need to do some cleanup work here to make sure that your liabilities and obligations are being minimized ongoing. And we're also part of their annual check-in process. So when they do their annual planning review with their client, they just ask and look, do you have some sort of sales tax process or system implemented? Because we're not going to manage it. If you don't, let's make that introduction. And now this partner has the peace of mind and assurance of knowing that their clients are getting the right sales tax help, getting the help they need, it's being done accurately. They also have the assurance that the executive team has the assurance that middle managers are not going to be creating commitments to things that they can't upkeep, or potentially creating faulty advice that is going to be potentially pulling them into a lawsuit. They got really lucky in this instance, but it honestly could have happened. And they also get to make some money because we do revenue sharing with all of our partners. And so, rather than investing all of the time and energy in creating a sales tax department within your business, you can just partner with us, refer your clients to us. We work closely and collaborate together for your clients, and then you get a kickback on that. So honestly, everyone wins. So hope this story was helpful. There's so many ways that sales tax can go wrong, and only a few ways that it can go right. And the devil is really in the details. You really need a sales tax advisor, not just software, whether it's TaxValet or someone else. If you do not have a team of resident sales tax experts inside of your company already, and you have a high degree of assurance that you can deal with all the sophistication and complexity of sales tax, then you should find some company to partner with, whether that's us or someone else. If you're interested in learning more about how to partner with TaxValet, whether or not we'd be a good fit for each other, you want to schedule a consultation with us and just have a chat, you can do so at our website, thetaxvalet.com. Thanks so much. Talk to you later.